It happened during the long summer holiday, when school was out and the days felt endless. That year, I was 17. My parents sent me to stay with my uncle in a small seaside town. It was meant to be a break, fresh air, quiet nights, no homework, no stress. The town was popular during the day, but at night it emptied fast. Most tourists stayed near the beach hotels. My uncle lived farther away, near a stretch of old vacation houses built decades ago. His house was called Blue Water House. It was tall, wooden, and painted pale blue, though most of the paint had peeled away. It stood alone at the edge of a narrow road, with trees behind it, and the ocean somewhere beyond, unseen but always heard. The waves never stopped. From the first night, something felt off. Not scary, just wrong. The air inside the house was colder than outside, even in summer. Doors made soft noises, like someone touching them gently. My uncle worked nights at the harbor, so I was alone after sunset. The first few days passed quietly. I explored the beach, ate street food, slept late. At night I watched movies and listened to the waves. Then, on the fourth night, I heard footsteps upstairs. Slow, careful. I paused the movie and listened. I told myself it was the house settling. Old houses make noise. That's normal. But the footsteps stopped directly above me, right where the guest bedroom was, the room I was using. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. After a few seconds, the steps continued, this time moving toward the stairs. I waited. Nothing else happened. The next morning, I asked my uncle if anyone else had access to the house. He looked confused. "No," he said. "Why?" I didn't answer. That day, I noticed something strange. The guest bedroom mirror was covered with a thin cloth. I didn't remember covering it. When I asked my uncle, he hesitated before speaking. "That mirror was already here when I bought the house," he said. "Just don't uncover it at night." He smiled, like he was joking. I laughed too. But that night, I uncovered it anyway. The mirror looked normal. Old, slightly cracked at the corner, but normal. I went to sleep without thinking much about it. Around midnight, I woke up sweating. The room was silent. Too silent. Then I heard breathing. Not mine. It was slow and shallow, coming from the direction of the mirror. I sat up. The mirror was uncovered, and my reflection was standing. I was still sitting on the bed. In the mirror, I saw myself standing straight, eyes open, not blinking. The reflection slowly raised its hand. I didn't move. My reflection smiled. The smile was wrong. Too wide. Too slow. Then the reflection leaned closer to the glass and whispered something I couldn't hear. Suddenly, the breathing stopped. The mirror went dark, like the light inside it turned off. I grabbed the cloth and threw it over the mirror and didn't sleep until morning. The next day, I went to the town library. I searched for old records, newspapers, anything about Blue Water House. That's when I found it. 20 years ago, during a summer holiday, a teenage boy stayed in that same house. His family rented it for vacation. One night, he was found dead in the guest bedroom, standing in front of the mirror, eyes open. No injuries, the report said, cause unknown. The locals believed something else. They believed the house didn't show you your reflection. It showed you what stayed behind. That night was my last night there. I slept on the couch downstairs, all lights on. Just before sunrise, I heard footsteps upstairs again. But this time, they didn't stop. They walked down the stairs. They stopped at the bottom. I didn't look. When the sun rose, the footsteps faded. I left that morning. I never went back. It happened during a summer holiday, when my whole family decided to spend time together outside the city. My parents rented an old countryside house for 1 week. It was cheap, quiet, and far away from other homes. The owner said families used to stay there all the time. The house had 3 bedrooms, a kitchen, and a long hallway that made every sound echo. At the end of the hallway was a small locked room. "That's just storage," the owner said. "Don't worry about it." We didn't. The first day passed normally. We cooked together, joked, and enjoyed the warm summer air. At night, insects chirped loudly outside, and the house felt peaceful. Too peaceful. On the second night, I woke up suddenly. I didn't know why. Then I heard it. A soft counting voice. 3, 4, 5. It was quiet, slow, and calm. Not angry. Not loud. The voice came from the hallway. I sat up and listened. 6. Then it stopped. The next morning, my little brother asked a strange question. "Why does someone count us before sleeping?" he asked. My parents froze. I hadn't told anyone. That night, my father checked the house carefully. Doors were locked. Windows closed. No one else inside. We told ourselves it was imagination. The third night, we heard footsteps walking back and forth in the hallway. Slow and steady, like someone pacing. Then the counting started again. 1, 2, 3. This time it was closer. My mother opened the door and looked outside. The hallway was empty, but the locked storage room door was open. Inside was nothing. No boxes. No furniture. Just deep scratch marks on the floor, as if something heavy had been dragged in circles. That night, no one slept. On the fourth night, the counting returned, but it was different. 1, 2, 3, 4. It stopped at 4. There were 5 of us in the house. My little sister started crying. "Someone is missing," she whispered. And we heard a slow knock from inside the small room. Not banging. Not angry. One knock. Path. Another knock. My father opened the door. The room was still empty. But written on the wall, scratched deep into the wood, was a single sentence. "Don't let one be left behind." The lights flickered. The counting voice whispered right behind us. 5. We ran out of the house that night and stayed in the car until morning. None of us went back inside later. My parents learned the truth from a nearby resident. Years ago, a family lived in that house. During a summer vacation, their youngest child went missing inside the home. They searched everywhere, but never found him. After that, the parents left. The locked room was the child's room. People who stay in the house report hearing counting at night, because the spirit is checking if every family member is still there. If the count is wrong, it gets closer. We were lucky. The count ended correctly. People think summer holidays are safe. Bright days. Long evenings. Nothing hiding in the dark. But some places don't change with the season. Some places remember things. This happened during a summer holiday in a quiet coastal town. Not on the beach, not near the sea, but on a road everyone avoided. After sunset the summer I turned 18, I stayed with my uncle in a small town where nothing ever felt urgent. The days were hot and slow. The nights stayed warm long after the sun disappeared. People there lived by habit. Same shops, same roads, same routines. There was one road that never became part of those routines. It was called Old Marker Road. During the day, it looked ordinary, a narrow stretch of asphalt cutting through pine trees and abandoned warehouses. But at night, no one walked there. Not because of crime. Not because of accidents. People just said, "It doesn't feel right." One evening, I stayed late helping my uncle. When I left, the sky was still pale, but the air felt heavy. Too quiet. I stepped onto Old Marker Road. Right away, something felt wrong. Not silent, just muted. The insects stopped. The wind disappeared. Even my footsteps sounded softer than they should have. Halfway down the road, I noticed the ground beneath my feet was warm. That wasn't strange by itself, but the warmth came in patches. Long, narrow areas of heat. Then sudden cold. Almost like someone had been walking there before me. I stopped. The road ahead was empty. I told myself it was leftover heat from the day. Then I noticed the smell. Faint, metallic, like rusted tools left in the sun. I kept walking. That's when I realized my shadow didn't look right. The street light behind me stretched it forward, too long. And bending slightly to the left, I changed my pace. The shadow didn't. I stopped again. The air felt thick, pressing against my chest. Then I heard it. Not footsteps. A dragging sound. Soft. Uneven. Like something heavy being pulled across the road. Then stopping. Then starting again. It was always just behind my pace. Never catching up. Never falling back. I reached the part of the road near the old warehouses. Their walls were dark. Healing. Numbers faded almost completely. The dragging sound felt closer now. Not louder, closer. The warmth on the road spread beneath my feet. Wide. Heavy. Like something had been lying there for a long time. Without thinking, I whispered, "Hello." The sound stopped. The silence that followed felt attentive. Suddenly, the ground turned cold. Not the air. Just the road. Cold seeped through my shoes like stone that had never seen sunlight. That's when I noticed the marks. Faint grooves in the asphalt. Long. Parallel. Drag marks. Deeper near the warehouses, I walked faster. The dragging sound returned closer than before. My shadow stretched thinner. Then heavier. For a moment, it lagged behind me. When I stepped forward, it didn't follow. I felt resistance at my ankle. Not a hand. Not a grip. Just pressure. Like the road didn't want to let me go. I forced myself forward. The pressure vanished. The warmth disappeared. The shadow snapped back into place. When I reached my uncle's porch, I turned around. Old Marker Road was empty. Normal. Silent. Like nothing had ever happened. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not from fear, but from the feeling that something had followed me part of the way. And stopped. The next morning, I asked my uncle about the road. He didn't answer at first. Then he said, "They repaved it once." Nothing more later, I visited the town records office. An old report described a worker who disappeared decades ago. Summer evening. Old Marker Road. They found drag marks on the asphalt. No witnesses. One detail stood out. The road stayed warm the next morning. Even after rain, they repaved the road, closed the warehouses, and let the story fade. But places remember. And sometimes, when the heat lingers long enough, they let you feel it.